It's time for Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Good Thursday morning to you and yours. My name is Darren Swenson. Our Town brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. Got a four-guest program on the show this morning. We'll talk to Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken a little later on in the program. The Southland Warrior baseball team, well, they know the way to Carroll. It's 227 miles from Kelmer to Carroll. They know the trip as they are heading to the state baseball tournament once again. We'll talk to Southland coach Alex Smith. We'll have a chat with Kevin Converse. He is with the Fayette County Fair Board. The Fayette County Fair is underway, or will get underway next week in West Union. But coming up this weekend in Waukon, it is the Star City Film Festival. And it's been too long since we had a chance to get an update with Katie O'Regan. And she will be our premiere this morning on Our Town. It's brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. You're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. It has been too darn long since we've had our friend Katie O'Regan on the show, but the Star City Film Festival is happening in Waukon this weekend. And Katie, we appreciate you taking the time for us. But since we've talked to you last, things a little bit different in your life. Just update us on where you're at and what you're doing.
Well, I have spent the last year, the fall and the winter, in Los Angeles and working on a new movie called Give 'Em Hell Honey, which has been really fun, and doing some commercial work out there. And now I'm back here for the Star City Film Festival here in beautiful Waukon, Iowa. Good to be home. Darren, so good to be home. I have my home here, so we're doing our film festival. This is our 7th season of the Star City Film Festival already.
And when you got this going 7 years ago, looking back on it, what has made it a sustainable and a growing event?
It's actually been like 5.5 years. So we've done a couple years. The season in the film festival world means how many festivals you've done.
Okay.
So I started it out in Spring Grove, Minnesota, and we had Ed Asner come. And then I brought it to, what was the next place that I brought it? Caledonia, Minnesota. And Ed Asner came back again. And then Daniel Baldwin came and Alec Baldwin came and to Spring Grove and spoke to us through teleprompter to the audience. And then we had the wonderful, I took it to Sheboygan, Wisconsin and then I had a walk-on before that. And then Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where we had Teo Pinglis from Days of Our Lives and Mission Impossible last year. And this year we're doing it beautiful, my now hometown of Waukon, Iowa. And we're having my co-star from my new movie, Mikhail Rossi, come and be our guest of honor from Los Angeles. So I think we're going to keep it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to keep it in Waukon, Iowa. I think things take a while. In answer to your question, Darren, the long-winded question that I just answered with, I think things take a while. In order to have success, you have to, nothing happens overnight. You have to live and learn and figure out where you land and belong in life. And the Star City Film Festival definitely has its belonging and home in Waukon, Iowa. We're doing it at the beautiful auditorium at the Waukon High School. So it's the perfect spot for it.
And when you originally started this and looking at what it's become, in what ways has it grown? In what ways did you look at it and say, hey, we like what we're doing here. Hey, we can improve on what we're doing here. How did you go about that self-assessment to keep this festival growing and what it is today?
Yeah. It's interesting. I realized that it's become very much of a filmmaker's festival. I love star power, but I really love the independent filmmaker. I'm one myself, and I believe in the little guy and the little girl. So I really am very loyal to my previous filmmakers who have taken the time to do films, put their hearts and their money, and come to the festival. We have returning filmmakers this year again, which is wonderful. So our focus is really on the grassroots independent filmmaker who funds it themselves or with very little money and does beautiful, beautiful artistic work. So although I love having stars come, I love it. I'm gonna do another one in October in Los Angeles, and we'll have stars there. But I really want this one to be all about making the star of the filmmaker and the actors in it and the editors and the people that make it happen. So and I like a diversity. What I found out, I discovered I love diverse films. So there's 60 films this year. 3 of those are script films, and they're very diverse. None of them are the same. So so it starts on Friday at the high school at 5 o'clock and goes to like 10 o'clock. We have lots of shorts. There's lots of horror this year. People love horror films. I'm a big chicken. I am a chicken. Do you like horror films?
Not a fan myself, so
Yeah.
I'm a chicken right there with you. Solidarity.
Yeah, so I'm telling you. But there's some really good people love that. They're not weird, like so horror, but they're a lot of some suspense horror.
Okay.
Some of them are really real. I mean, they're really good. They're really well made. I'm really impressed with them. So I watch 2 movies a day probably just because I like to know my craft, but I really appreciate other people's artistic visions. And so there's horror films, there's beautiful family films. We have a dog film category, which is of course I'm my little Lacey. I love dogs. We have some really cute dog films. We have some great films in the autism category, some really incredibly beautiful films. We've got some cool web series, fun, funky. So it's really worth the time to come out on Friday and Saturday during the day and watch all these different films. We're charging just donation only. So if you just want to come watch the films and you saving your money for groceries, you can come on over. We have plenty of room at the auditorium. If you want to give a bunch of money and support Sacred Noise Society, which is my nonprofit organization, we would really appreciate that because that's what helps it go. But you don't have to. And then a Saturday night, we have the red carpet that I'm premiering my film, Good Give 'Em Hell, Honey, which I'm really proud of. I'm really excited about. It's my new feature. So Saturday night, red carpet.
There we go. When you look at you're on the inside of the filmmaking industry, like, and this this festival caters to the independent film. Looking at it, just kind of the way this industry goes, how many people are out there in small communities or independent communities and don't have those big budget? How many creative artistic people are out there that do this quality work that festivals like yours allow to be showcased?
Yeah, it's remarkable. There's so many filmmakers and actors and directors, editors, all the people that I call filmmakers that make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Film that make their films and never get them seen. And it's just heartbreaking. It's expensive and it's time and because the world has changed so much with movies, with streaming. So there's a lot of artistic creative people that need to have their voices heard. And I'm just a little pea in the universe, but I do what I can to help people, and I do everything I can to keep it going. It's expensive, but it's really worth it because I really love it. It's really fun. I love all the filmmakers that come. They're great. They really are. We're a different breed of human. Like you, you're a communications guy. You're the same. You're just like, you're a filmmaker. You're making a film right now.
I am.
That's right. So you're one of us.
Well, and the star of this film, yourself, we appreciate you starring in this film that we're doing. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a great talent here. So, and when you talk about how the business is nowadays, you bring up streaming. Is it easier to get your film as an independent producer seen nowadays than maybe it was 25, 30 years ago with the internet and with streaming?
Well, you can get it seen like on YouTube, or you can certainly put it on your Facebook. You could, but that doesn't mean people are going to see it. Depends on how many followers you have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easier to get it on. It's less, I would say in the last 5 years, it's harder for independent filmmakers to make their money back.
Okay.
On streaming, even though people could see it, we're not seeing the profit because it's more diversified. So it's okay. That's okay. it's a crapshoot. We're not guaranteed as artists to have our work be seen or appreciated. Some of the greatest artists in the entire world have, died long before they were ever famous or had their work seen. Or I believe as an artist, you can't do it to be famous. You have to do it to believe that you're putting out something of value that will inspire people. That's why I do it.
And what very well stated there. I'll ask you, and I'm assuming a lot of these independent producers have similar mindsets that you do. How did you fall in love with the process of filmmaking? How did you get going in it? How did you make sure that this is something that you wanted to do at as high of a level as you're doing it right now?
Well, I was always a singer and a writer from the time I was a wee little girl on the farm in Iowa. so, so, and an actor, starting in, middle school. And so, because we grew up in Iowa, we never ever thought there was a possibility to even be famous. So I was in a stage kid, I was a farm daughter, with 6 brothers. So I just never did it. It was not my mindset. So, but I've done theater my entire life. I've been a writer my entire life. I'm a singer, trained out for singer to begin with. And I guess I just never thought about not doing it, because it's not the thing that you want to do that makes you do art. It's the thing that you have to do that makes you do art.
Interesting. Explain that.
So I never sought out to do a feature film of this particular genre that I did. That's how it just happened. I produced the play, Good Morning Miss America, and then I always thought it was a film. And then I took it to Off-Broadway and produced it, and then I made a film out of it. I rewrote the script and made a film out of it, Painting Jane, and this is like the sequel, Give Him Hell, Honey, which is completely different. So I never ever thought this was not a plan of mine. It's just, it needed to be said. And so, that's just what happened, So I said, oh, okay, I think I'll do this. Okay, I guess that'll work. I can do it this way and this will work. And, that's what it just led me down. It's very interesting. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm just kind of like that kind of person.
Okay.
So the title Give Him Hell, Honey comes from my father when I used to, perform as a little girl and as an adult. Before I would get up and sing or act or do something, he'd say, he was in the audience, or right before I went, Daddy, I'm scared, I don't know, you get up there and give him hell, honey, give him hell. And so I got that from him. And whenever I do something, I give it hell. If I say I'm going to do it, I give it my best meaning in a more appropriate way to say give him hell, honey. That's just what drives me.
Very interesting. And you bring up your father pretty much giving you the title of the feature presentation coming up on Saturday night. And I know your father recently passed away. How much did his encouragement of you mean to what you are doing today?
Everything. Everything. I'm so fortunate to have a cameo of him in the movie. We got, not long before he died, I said, Daddy, can you just to walk in on the movie? Because we shot part of it at the Hanover Church, right just north of here in Waukon, where he was, born by and married my mother in, and now he's buried at. And he was always a great advocate of me as an artist. He's always believed that I was the, best one in the room, on stage, or, I had that. He didn't spoil me by any stretch of the imagination, but he believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say you only need, and my mother did too, but my daddy had a special way of doing it. He was like a coach,
Mm-hmm.
He really believed in me. And I'm very similar to him in many ways. Good and bad. We all have bad stuff. I'm a wild child, like he was a wild man in his younger days too.
Yeah.
I'm not a mean wild child. I just got a wild streak in me. No, give him
You're
hell.
fun. You're fun.
I like to have fun. That's correct. That would be correct. So he's a great influence on me, and I honor him by having him a picture of him in the film. When you see it, you'll know why what I mean. He plays a big part of it. I did this sequel because of him. Because after he died, whoa.
Hey, this wouldn't be an interview without an appearance from Lacey. I mean,
she's quite the guard dog. So she's guarding the truck out there. She's fending those darn cars off from me. Thanks, Lace.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. So
no, she's wonderful. She really does play a big part in the movie. It's pretty funny. So yeah, he's the reason I did it, because after he died, it changed my whole life, because I finished the last movie, Painting Jane, like it came out for distribution on Amazon the day I put him in the nursing home. Mm-hmm. So I edited that. So that film was too sad to me. I didn't want to make a film that was so sad. It was not that it's not good. I just wanted a different ending. And so I decided to make this new sequel of it, which is a happy ending. And Jane, my character, moves on after her parents die.
Oh.
And I did it. So this is a real truth. It's my true story about moving on after my parents die.
And that will be the feature presentation coming up this Saturday night. As for the festival itself, anything we're missing, anything else the public needs to know that I haven't reached off on my checklist here?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's worth coming Friday. I know the Alameda County Fair is going on, which is really fun. So if you want to do both things, go to the fair and then come see some films, because we have some really phenomenal films coming. One of our local Waukon, Iowa filmmakers, Robert Barheit, has 2 films in it, 2 short films. You should come see those. You can go to sacrednoisesociety.org and see a list of the films. We have people coming from all over the country for this. And we're going to do a red carpet, come and meet, take some pictures. Then we're going to watch my movie. But before that, all day long, we're going to have these filmmakers, probably like 12 now filmmakers coming, and we're going to do talkbacks after we show their film. So it's worth coming Friday night and Saturday night to see these amazing filmmakers. It's just, they're so different and so diverse. It's hard to explain them all, but we're also going to have it online. So If you want to go on and buy a $25 ticket, you can see all the films. You get a code for like 4 days, and you can go through and look at them and watch all the films at your leisure at home.
Wow.
For like days, which is worth, including my movie, Give Him Hell, Honey, which is no one's ever seen before, by the way. It's a world premiere.
And that's coming up on Saturday night. And I guess I'll ask you, in the 7 years that you have done this festival, have you had someone maybe come in the early years of this festival that maybe was inspired by one of these producers to become a producer of or a filmmaker of their own? Have you seen the interest snowball a little bit because of what you're doing?
Absolutely. Our returning filmmakers, Todd Siskey, Robert Barheit, Daryl Hudlicka, they've all continued. They're all returning filmmakers. They do one, new every year. I'd probably say there's like 20 people that have done, but a lot more people that have inspired. I've had all kinds of people say to me, how do you do that, Katie? And I tell them, and they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm like, well, I can do it. You can do it. And that's always been my mantra. One of the reasons, we don't do anything just for ourselves. I don't anyway. If I can't inspire somebody, if I just wanted to be a filmmaker, I wouldn't do a film festival. Right. But I like to bring people on my shoulders. So it's more fun that way. Who wants to do everything by themselves? I don't want to do everything by myself. I know that. So there's been lots of people that have been inspired, which is really great. Kids too, which is really great. I love working with kids. I love working with everybody. As long as, you're on the earth, you probably got something good in you.
Yeah. Kids
So
are
I
kids
like,
at heart, right?
yeah, yeah. But I love being here. It's so interesting after being in Los Angeles for so long, all year, and I haven't been back for like 7 months. Anytime you have a journey, it changes you. And being there, I mean, it's not like I haven't spent time in Los Angeles, but I never lived there. Um, and so you really appreciate things that we have that the rest of the world doesn't, like the homeless population doesn't exist here, and it really does in LA. God bless those people. And some of the nice people I know live in LA and they're wonderful. So, but you have these very, very, very wealthy people, and then you have homeless people, and it's really difficult there. And it's not advertised in the rest of the world like it should be. It's shocking, you know. So I'm really grateful that we have the room and neighbors that help and resources that they just don't have there. You know, it's surprising. People would be shocked to see it, really. You know, and it's hard to even hide from in LA. And you want to help everyone. It breaks my heart to think about. You see these people, some of them the same. You see them every day, and they're not doing anything wrong. They have nothing. So that's my depressing thought of the day. But I'm just telling the truth. So that's why I'm just really grateful to be that I was born and raised here, and then that I have family left, and people that I love, and neighbors that I love. You walk down the street and go, "Hey, how's it going, Darren? How's it going?" Pretty fun.
No doubt about it.
And
Sorry, I interrupted.
I'm sorry. People that have come to the film festivals here from other states, they love it. We had it in Lansing last year. They loved it. We had it in Caledonia. They loved it. We had it in Waukon. They loved it. Sheboygan. They loved it. So people love the Midwest, and we're not flyover states.
In my mind, we never have been. So
no, we never have been. That is the darn truth.
And yep. There's a reason we call it God's country, and to me, it's an accurate description of our neck of the woods. Give us one final reminder how people can go to the festival, see the films, etc. coming up this weekend.
So go to sacrednoisesociety.org, sacrednoisesociety.org, and you can click on it, and you can buy a ticket there. You can make it's all donations. So you want to donate $10, and you want a ticket, put $10. And it'll come to your email, and you say, and we get notified. So you just walk up, and that's your pass. Or if you just want to donate at the door or walk in at the door, you just come to the door and come on in, especially Friday. I'd really love a bunch of people to come. Kids can come for free. It's at the auditorium. It's a good, safe place to come to. There's lots of parking, and there's lots of seats. I think we got like 420 seats or something, 410 seats there. And that's how you come to the auditorium. But I really encourage you to come to, the red carpet. That'll be fun. Dress up. I'm going to wear a pretty dress. I don't know what color yet. But I love to dress up and, show respect for everyone. I think I'm going to sing a song. I wrote the soundtrack to Give 'Em Hell Honey. So I'm probably going to, at Julie Berg Raymond's request, sing a song for the audience that's in the movie. It's in my movie track. And then you can meet these fabulous, wonderful filmmakers and just have fun. And then we're going to go to, there's a really cool new, it's a brewery, not a brewery, but it's a tap house in town. It's called the Tap House in Waukon. And then people are going to go there afterwards, or go to the fair, whatever you want to do. That's it.
Plenty of entertainment options in Waukon this weekend. Katie, yes. Always good catching up with you. Thanks for the quality of life you provide our area when you bring this festival back to Northeast Iowa each and every year. Always good catching up with you. Thanks for the time, and best of luck with you for the film festival coming up this weekend. Star City Film Festival in Waukon this weekend.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you so much for what you do for our community too. Appreciate it.
Katie O'Regan joining us, Star City Film Festival, Friday and Saturday in Waukon. Coming up next week, the 171st Fayette County Fair in West Union. And with us to preview the fair is Kevin Converse. He is with the Fayette County Fair Board. And Kevin, how much time, how much energy, how much work goes into getting ready for these 5 days?
I mean, it's quite an undertaking. I think there's 16 on our board. Basically, probably the week after last year's fair, we start working on this year's fair, and there probably isn't a week that goes by the whole year that I'm not dealing something with fair stuff. So we've been excited about how we've grown our fair, and but it's probably astounding how much work somebody puts in, especially when it's volunteers. But we enjoy it, and we enjoy when the kids say that's their favorite time of the week. So it kind of, when you hear things like that, it makes you put the time in. But it's amazing how much time it actually does take from people.
And looking at, let's go down the grandstand entertainment for next week. The fun gets underway on Tuesday night.
Yeah, so Tuesday night, we start off with our Queen competition, and then if you like, big arena, 70s rock, Hairball is going to hit the stage, and so if the Barflies are opening up for them, a local rock band around here. But if you've never seen Hairball, it's an experience in itself. I always tell people that they don't play nothing but not number one hits, so you're going to know every song, and they're full dress, and I think they had to get a permit from the city for the pyrotechnics they have. So it's a real deal show and full arena, rock stop concert. So a lot of people come and dress up in their 70s gear, and it's just it's a great time. And we had them a few years back, and they put on a heck of a show.
And then Wednesday and Thursday night, you head to the racetrack for a couple of nights of racing entertainment. It was nice that last week you got your races in because Mother Nature hasn't been too kind to you guys this year.
No, I don't.
Hopefully, Mother Nature can be a good Wednesday and Thursday night.
Yeah, we're hoping. Yeah, I think it's been, I don't know if it's 3 or 4 weeks they canceled, probably the longest we'd ever had with having to cancel that many races. But yeah, Wednesday starts out mainly with, the bus races, which has been huge from us. When we first started those, we kind of didn't know how that would take off, and it's lasted a long time, and it gets more popular every year. And I've seen snaps coming in of people building buses, so that'll be fun. And then we also have the hobby stock and are with them. And then Thursday night is the raid chassis, where they have the IMCA modifieds and the late models are going to be there in that night. So that'll be huge race. If you're a race fan, both nights will be a lot of fun.
And then your big concert coming up Friday night.
Yep. So then Friday night rolls in. Our local guy, Bo Timmerman, a lot of people have seen him. Does a great job. He's going to open it up. And then Nico Moon's going to hit the stage. He's a great performer, real high energy. Most places he'd be your opener, or he'd be your main act. And then, but then we're gonna finish the night off with Kip Moore. All of them guys are high energy. It'll be a great concert. And people got to remember with our concerts, with having so many acts, it's going to be 5 hours of music you're going to hear out there. So we think for the grandstand tickets are $30. You can get track, and there might be a couple of VIPs left if you want that experience, but it's going to be high energy and a great show.
And then you wrap up everything on Saturday with a little track entertainment and a little music entertainment.
Yep. So Saturday night's the demo derby, and the demo derby guys have been wanting Saturday night for a long time, and it just worked out that Kip Moore was available on Friday. So that worked out that they get the Saturday demo derby. And so that we think it's going to be a huge demo derby. And then, yeah, that night in the beer garden, I'm almost as excited for these guys as any of them, as they're called Boys in the Band. They're right out of Nashville. They play, so they're an Alabama tribute band. And so they play all Alabama. They have the fiddle player. People have seen them and say, if you will think it's Alabama. And so we're excited about them. They're going to be fun. That's completely free. And so, yeah, Saturday night, we're gonna finish out strong with Boys in the Band.
How can folks purchase tickets to the grandstand shows?
So you can go online for the big concert and Hairball. You can go online to Midwest Tix, and you can still get tickets there, and it'll come right up on your phone. You can get them ahead of time, or you can. And so those tickets, like I said, you can go to Midwest Tix or Unionland Feed Store right here in West Union. You can pick up tickets for anything. And then the other tickets you can Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday night. And plus the concert, you can buy tickets right there that night at the gate. Tickets, yeah, you can buy them right there at the grandstand when you get there.
And of course, a big part of any fair is the 4-H and FFA livestock shows. Obviously, the midway, the entertainment, that gets a lot of the attention. But when you really get down to county fairs, it's about giving those young people the opportunity to show off their hard work. How are the numbers looking for 4-H and FFA?
Well, we got a guy going to Cresco tonight to pick up 10 extra goat pens because our goat numbers are up. Our sheep numbers, I think, is what he's picking up. So I think the numbers on that are staying strong. You can go out to our website and see the schedules for all those events. And just a quick reminder on that Tuesday night concert with Hairball. If you are a 4-H member or an FFA member from any county, Almaquis, Winneshiek, wherever, and you wear a 4-H or FFA shirt, you get into that concert for free.
Oh.
And if you are a military veteran or an active military, just come to the ticket booth and say, hey, I'm a veteran or I'm active military, and we'll let you right in for free. And we appreciate the service of all those people. So remember that Tuesday night, if you're a veteran or active military or a 4-H or FFA member, you can come to that Hairball concert absolutely free. And so we want people to come out, come enjoy it. And we call Tuesday night Farmtown Proud. We have a lot of sponsors that sponsor that, and they do that money so that these people can get in for free. And so we want to make sure we remember to put that out there. Tuesday night, come on down, and you can get into Hairball and for free if you're one of those people.
And speaking of free, a lot of free entertainment and free fun at the fair next week.
Yeah, there's lots of activities going on that are free all throughout the week. There's magicians and there's hypnotists and all kinds of things that way. And one of the kind of our niche, it's made it work for us, is our carnival. And then, like I said, check out the website for when they start. I think Tuesday night it starts at 5 and it moves up an hour every day. Our carnival is 100% free. And we don't charge for parking. We don't charge a gate fee. So if you bring your kids up that night, they can ride every night or ride every ride. Just stay in line and you can do it all for free. And that's kind of been our niche. It's helped kind of make us grow a little bit. And so we have lots of sponsors that help pay for that. And so, like I said, there's lots of free events. So if it seems like anything these last few months, things are getting a little tight. And so you can come up there and have a lot of fun for really cheap.
And you mentioned a lot of those sponsors. How good does it feel from a fair board perspective to have a community that supports everything you're doing?
I mean, it actually blows my mind. We probably get $100,000 in sponsors. And that's not like somebody writing us a $50,000 check. That's a lot of $100 checks. It's a lot of $50 checks. A lot of $1,000 checks, and that's kind of been our thing that's growing us is if you give $50, guess what? You're going to come see what's going on at the fair, and you're going to see the improvements. And so it's really overwhelming. The businesses of Fayette County, the people of Fayette County have been so generous, and have really bought into the fair and seeing it grows. And that's why we probably do a $100,000 project every year the last 10 years, and it's it's all donations. Basically the fair. You hope with all your entertainment and everything, you'd make enough to break even. And so all the other things that we do at the fairgrounds is because of donations. And so we're just overwhelmed by the support we get from Fayette County, and it just continues year after year.
And Kevin, anything we're missing? Anything else you want to bring up? As long as you got the forum this morning.
I don't think so, but we appreciate you putting the spotlight on us. And I know it's full on county fair. I know Winneshiek was last year, and I think maybe was last week. I think Almaquis this week, and so there's lots of fun to be had out there, and we enjoy all the county fairs. And like I said, check out our website; it'll have all the things that are going on. But like I said, I think every night of this is probably our fullest lineup we've ever had, and so every night's going to be a lot of fun. And we hope people come back night after night, and we call it the fun fair. And so we think people, if you take the time to come out, you'll have a good time.
Any type of county fair is a fun time, and next week should be a fun time in West Union. Kevin, we thank you for taking the time. We thank you and the entire fair board for the work you do to put on this great community event.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for your time, and have a good day.
Kevin Converse with the Fayette County Fair Board. Fayette County Fair starting next Tuesday in West Union. Well, Alex, it's 227 miles, Kelmer to Carroll. You guys know the way by now?
We figured out a way to get there. Now we're going to figure out a way to go down there, play well, and get a game. I think our guys are going to be in the right mindset to go do that. We talk about it a lot, and it's going to be a one-game scenario. Like Mr. Woodley was just talking to us, are we going to be a top seed? Probably not, but we can play the role of underdog, and I think our guys, again, we're going to go in with the right mind and go out and compete next week.
And it really took all aspects of your team pitching, a little bit of defense, a little bit of hitting at the right time to get this victory tonight. How good did it feel to have that complete victory?
No doubt. We talked about being consistent and competitive, not being perfect. And were we perfect? We were not, right? We made some errors. We walked some guys. We gave away some at-bats. But we were super consistent. We say if you win more pitches than the other team, good things will happen. We came up with some big hits when we needed to. We executed things well. And boy, those two pitchers, and Braden and Cole, were pretty special when they needed to make pitches. I know coming in, they had their top two arms available. We were down Carson, but our guys had the full mindset and confidence that whoever's pitching is going to give us a good chance to win a ball game.
I'm going to go to that play in the top of the fifth inning. First and second, 2 down. Bosco pulls within 4-3. Ground ball up the middle. Wenthold's able to keep it on the skin. Made it bases loaded, 2 outs instead of the tying run coming to the plate. How huge was that play?
100%. We always look to the next play. And when Carver came in, he says, I might have had the guy at first. And I said, well, might have's not the reason you want to throw that, because they're going on the throw from third to home and they're going to score on that play. So critical, obviously, to just get him down to 90 feet, not to give up the run. And we go out and make that next pitch and got the next guy out. And that gave us that 1-run lead still. And that was a big deal.
And your kids ate their Wheaties today, hitting the ball out of the ballpark a couple of times.
Yeah, I kind of joke. Cole's kind of Mr. May and Mr. July. He hasn't hit a ball like that since May, but we'll take that swing in July. And Parker's obviously had an outstanding year as a senior. These guys work at it hard. We've been at it since early March in terms of swinging and throwing and hitting. And those guys want to succeed, and they're used to it, right? This moment is not big for them. We've been there many times, and those leaders at the top of the lineup that have been in the lineup now for a while carried the course, but those bottom of the lineup guys executed and did great things too.
This particular unit, what has made this unique and special, this particular group?
Yeah, I think they gel together just like our other groups have had, but we have a great time on game day and in practice. They talk an extremely high baseball IQ, but when we need to be loose and have fun, they can do that as well. They poke at each other a little bit, they have fun with one another, but they also coach each other up and hold each other accountable. I talk about this time of year, I try not to coach, I try to manage and let the players play, and they played pretty darn well tonight.
And you're heading down to Carroll next Monday. You touched on it. How hungry will these guys be when they take the field next?
No, they're going to be all right.
Merchant?
They'll be in the right mind. They're going to want to compete. We'll scout out whoever we're playing. I think we'll go in with a game plan. At the end of the day, same thing. We got to be consistent, make pitches, make plays. I think the big thing for us is, our struggles oftentimes have come early in the game down there. We got to find a way to keep a close game late, to put the pressure on probably the better seed, right? And do the things we're capable of doing, get the nerves out early, and be where we want to be late.
Congratulations again, Coach.
Appreciate it, Darren. Thank you.
Having a conversation with Travis Goedken, the city manager of Decorah. The Decorah City Council at its most recent meeting discussed several items. And I know you got a visit from Decorah School Superintendent Tim Cronin and Cindy Goodner, the president of the school board, regarding the potential vote coming up here in November. Just discuss the city and school district's cooperation to make that vote even a possibility. I know that's something that kind of both parties were touting on Monday night, and probably deservingly so.
Yeah. So, Darren, everybody listening has known this has been a discussion in the community for 15 plus years. And so, I would say the successful track all started probably about 2+ years ago. I think it's been now, where there was a joint work session held between the city and the school board, and where we basically sat down with the area planning efforts from Bolton and Mink, that heard from community members, stakeholders, and came up with an overall plan for the Hively Island area. And right there was our first start towards a partnership. General consensus was the city was willing to part ways with land west of current John Klein, and the school was going to be able to build a second elementary while the first one stood, kept operations going. Helping lower those temporary costs that would otherwise be needed for temporary housing, but also keep the building far enough east to keep some community space and avoid the intersection here being a concrete island. That was one of the things we wanted to avoid. So,
and when it takes all parties coming together for a matter like this, it takes cooperation. In today's world, we, especially in my industry, focus on the knock, 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 and the fights and the scratching and the clawing, because To us, it's probably more interesting, but in reality, it takes all parties working together. How important that in today's day and age to make sure that something as important as education gets to move forward?
Mhm. Thank you, Darren, for pointing that out. All too often, we as the public, that's all we hear about is the knocking of heads and the disagreements, whether it's, local level, state level, federal level. Lord knows we all hear plenty there, but that doesn't get anything done. Doesn't do anybody any good to just continue to lock horns and not do anything. So this was a big step for this community locally, was to come up with a compromise and get something done that again has been discussed for so many years.
You held some discussion on a potential noise pollution ordinance. Where's that conversation at?
Mhm. So it's still really early in its infancy stage. It is important to note both council members that asked this be discussed on the council agenda pointed out they wanted to emphasize this is not in relations to the raceway, has nothing to do with the races. Examples were brought up of even air conditioner condensers. Council members received complaints on sitting outside on a summer day and sitting next to their neighbor's AC condenser that's too loud, or things like that. People working on cars, or somebody opens up a motorcycle down Water Street and sitting at a stoplight revving it. Those types of concerns are what they're wanting to address.
How do you measure what's a concern? Because I'd imagine with a lot of things with noise, one person's pain is another person's pleasure.
That's right. So we want to avoid opinions. What we want to do are set baselines. There's really two trains of thought to this. One is what we would call a time and place component. So what that would say is, between the hours, think of like hospital quiet hours and hotel quiet hours, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., these types of actions are prohibited. And you just list out the actions that are louder by nature. The other is to go with a decibel meter, set a decibel level, and the only method of enforcement is using a decibel meter. And even we are so far in the infancy stages of this, we don't even know which path the council wants to even consider. So I've been tasked with bringing a couple of examples to them at the next council meeting. There's a handful out there that are even a combination of the two, that are a bit of a time and place that certain decibel levels are allowed for short periods of time. It's interesting to see all the variation out there, but they follow mainly those two tracks.
It's interesting, and I know you're just in the discussion and the review portion of a potential noise ordinance, but when it comes to measuring sound, how many people are actually walking around with the decibel level to actually get the data?
Honestly, it's probably the police officers that are on duty.
Okay.
That's maybe the code enforcement official. We're not, I'm not going to outfit each council member with one and have them out there and about. But yeah, there'll be a few meters, law enforcement, code enforcement.
Council discussed a letter of support to the Iowa Economic Development Authority regarding site plan changes on behalf of Briar Grove. First of all, what is this development? How is the council involved with this letter of support? How does this all work?
So Briar Grove Apartments, or Echo Development, is the development group. Those are the apartments up there by Toppling Goliath in the business park. And their original site plan was approved to have 4 buildings with 45 units or so within each building. 2 of those are constructed up there, and Echo Development wants to pivot from the 2 buildings that are up there to 5 10-unit townhomes with their own garages in them. The site plan, or excuse me, floor plans are available in Dropbox, and some very rudimentary site plans just kind of show what they're wanting to achieve. They have secured IDA workforce housing tax credits, and so in order to pivot and retain their funding, they need a letter of support from the city. Obviously, we have to go through a site plan review process, and we just didn't have the time to go through that with IEDA's timeline. So this was our shortcut. A resolution that says we're overall supportive of the change. However, it still has a process to go through for formal approval from the city.
Fair enough, but there's a Dry Creek or Dry Run Creek wetland project coming up. What will that all entail?
So this is a project that we're doing in conjunction with Winneshiek County Conservation, and it is outside the city limits. However, it's Dry Run Creek. That's water that makes its way through and around the city of Decorah, and water makes us nervous. So we want to head it off at the pass, if you will. So the whole intent behind this is to slow stormwater runoff and discharge into Dry Run Creek, so that we don't see that water swell so fast in high water events.
All right. I know at a previous council meeting, you discussed the stop signs as compared to stop lights on Water Street at Washington and Winnebago intersections. Where are we at on that front?
Yeah, so there had been previous conversations when the stoplight pole fell over at I believe it was the Washington intersection. That controller for that intersection also controls Washington. So we did bag and set up temporary stop signs at those intersections while getting parts and everything. And it was actually we did receive some positive comments and some negative too. Council members were receiving positive comments and some negative too, depending on which council member. So anyway, long story short, it had been our last meeting in June, the council voted on, or excuse me, it would have been our first meeting in July. The council considered a resolution to convert those two intersections to three-way stops, as opposed to the stoplight controlled intersections. There were six council members in attendance, and we ended up with a 3-3 tie, which is a failed vote. So that means, and I'm boring people to death with procedure here, I'm sure, but that means unless one of the 3 no votes tells me to put it back on the agenda as a motion to reconsider, and it would have to happen at our first meeting in August. Otherwise, we're waiting another year before any other conversation about it could pick back up again.
But as I told you when we started these conversations, we're about the procedure and not the politics, because we want to educate people.
That's great to hear.
All right. And some news that came out of this week's council meeting. Ross Hadley has announced he will be stepping down from the council effective September 1st. He is changing his primary residence and moving outside of the city limits, so that spot will be open. What will be the procedure for filling that at-large position?
So there's, again, 2 tracks with this thought as well. In the past, the city of Decorah has attempted to fill vacancies by appointment, and that is one track. However, appointments made are subject to petition for a special election, which would force a special election. The other is to simply go straight to special election and not try to fill by appointment. We have a bit of a timing, I don't want to call it issue here, but it's going to be a consideration of the council's at our August 5th meeting when this is further discussed. But if the council opts at the August 5th meeting, there is still time that we could potentially get this on the general election ballot in November, which would have a filing deadline of anyone interested of August 28th.
Okay. So that's where that is at right now. That covers my Microsoft Word document right now. Anything else on your computer screen right now?
No, just wish everyone a happy Nordic Fest, and hopefully you're able to get out and enjoy yourselves, and hopefully it's not 100 degrees out, right?
And if it is, hydrate.
Exactly. With water.
Exactly. And enjoy all the great food going on in the community and all the community events, and just everybody coming together to have a good time, because that's what small town summer festivals are all about. Travis, appreciate the time and the knowledge as always. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren.
Travis Goedken, Decorah City Manager. It was good guest lineup this morning. We want to thank Katie O'Regan from the Star City Film Festival taking place this weekend in Waukon. I want to thank Kevin Converse from the Fayette County Fair. It's the county fair season. The Alamaquee County Fair taking place this week. Fillmore County Fair taking place this week. Also, the Fayette County Fair taking place as well. And that will be next week in West Union. We thank Kevin for taking a few moments to talk to us. Congratulations to the South Winneshiek baseball team heading to the state tournament once again. And we appreciate Alex Smith taking a few minutes after Tuesday night's sub-state win over Don Bosco to give us a few words, and always appreciate catching up with the Decorah City Manager, Travis Goedken. Don't forget, each and every week we put these shows on YouTube. We realize you're busy. A lot of things going on. You can't always be near a radio or a smart speaker at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. We want to bring the information to you at your convenience. If you're out on YouTube, go to 7-18 Our Town program. That's a great way to figure out where to get these shows on your schedule. We also put these links up on all of our Facebook pages as well. It's the best way we can keep in touch with our communities, which is our number one job here at LA Communications. Thanks, Decorah Bank and Trust, for being our sponsor. Thanks for the guests for their time, for being on the show this morning. And we thank you. That's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.